Everybody, Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian, and it is Monday here on the show. You know what that means? Monday, brother. It's a new week. We're off to a hot start. We had AEW All Out this past weekend. And what a show that was. I greatly enjoyed the show. I cannot say I greatly enjoyed the main event, but as I've said many times, if there's one thing that you can count on in AEW, that is if they advertise a stipulation, boy, are they going to deliver. It's not that deal. You guys remember years back when they had that eye for an eye match with Rey Mysterio and his eye popped out and it was so wacky? Which was funny because they actually had a really cool special effect eyeball popping out of the head gimmick, but Vince McMahon, of all people, got cold feet. And they didn't do it. But anyway, you know, they advertised a death match, a cage match, no rules, lights out, anything goes. And they delivered. And a lot of people didn't like it. Some people did. So, it'll be interesting to hear what you guys think about that. We also have a Raw tonight from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Bret Hart will be there tonight. We've got the lineup for NXT tomorrow. Dynamite's coming up on Wednesday. Got to talk about AEW media rights and some trademarks and plenty of other news as well. No Mike Sempervive today. We will be joined by Filthy Tom Lawler. This will be his weekly appearance. Got a lot to talk to him about, including SmackDown on Friday night. And I'll be going to SmackDown this coming Friday. That's right. First SmackDown on USA here in Seattle. That'll be a lot of fun. We got a lot to get into. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler is joining us here today. No Mike Sempervive. Tom, what's going on? The hell's this thing going on with you and Matt Riddle?
This Saturday, I'll be facing Matt Riddle. Valet Tudo rules.
Valet Tudo rules?
Valet Tudo rules for MLW in Atlanta, Georgia.
Are you going to shoot on him?
Valet Tudo rules, baby.
Who would win between you and Riddle in a shoot nowadays?
Probably him.
Yeah.
I'm old, decrepit.
Wasn't the answer I was hoping
apart.
for, but I'll take it.
Hey, if you would have asked me during any fight during my career who was going to win, I probably would have said the other guy as well.
That's not true, because we talked about some of your upcoming fights, and you talked a lot of trash. Sometimes it paid off, sometimes it didn't. Know what I mean?
Okay. No, not really.
Whatever. Did you watch the pay-per-view this weekend?
I did watch the pay-per-view.
Wow, you watched the whole thing?
Most of it.
What'd you miss?
I missed the first portion of some of the matches. And I didn't watch the four-way for the Continental title or the tag title match, I guess.
Interesting.
Which I had no clue was even taking place, but
you didn't know the Continental match was taking place?
No, I didn't know that Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli were facing the Young Bucks for the tag belts.
I see. Well, that was just set up recently. Well, I mean, I think we should talk about the most obvious thing, Tom. What did you think of the main event?
I love the main event.
Loved it.
I loved it. Hold
on, before you go any further, everybody listening to this right now, I want to hear your thoughts on the main event. Don't make it long, because if it's long, I'm not going to read it. But text me your main event feelings to the text message number, 425-780-7566. I'm going to read some of them today, because this is a very polarizing match, Tom. Tell me what you loved about it.
Well, I do think that AEW on a whole does violent matches too much, because there's been a number of them that I just, can't even remember happening, to be fair. And I don't think that this is going to be one of those. This storyline has been going on for quite a while. There's been a lot of turns, twists, dips, dives, swerves, if you will. And if there was ever a match that AEW was putting on that deserved to have this kind of stipulation, it was this match. And the only negative to me, and to a lot of people it wouldn't even be a negative, but as someone who's like a sportsman, I watch baseball, football, basketball, I watch athletics as well as wrestling. I'm not a guy who is into the horror movie genre. The spot with the syringe, and I'm not sure they even got what they were going for. I think they were trying
it's supposed to go all the way through
shove
the cheek.
it all the way through his cheek, and it never quite got there. But I got up and left the room when I saw him break out that syringe, and I just waited until I knew that spot was done with. But other than that, I thought it was fantastic. At the end, after Hangman celebrated, I guess you could say, and he looks like he's going to walk back to the ring, and a woman lets out the most horrific shriek you've ever heard in her life. Ah! At the thought of Hangman beating on Swerve Moore was just the icing on the cake. And another thing I'll say, Brian.
Yes.
There weren't many other options. It's a tough way to end a pay-per-view. And I think that's, one of the biggest problems with it is you send people home on that note. And, of course, that's what they're going to remember, for better or for worse.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I got to say is the needle, okay? Now, there's two ways to look at this needle. If you look at it as, okay, what actually happened here? What actually happened was he pulled out a hypodermic needle, and he attempted to stick it through the cheek of Swerve Strickland. And as a wrestler, Tom, you know that when you really think about it, That was probably the least painful thing that happened in the entire match. It's a needle, dude. We've all got shots. The thing is that people hate needles. So,
Brian,
yes?
When's the last time you had someone shove a needle through
there is that.
your mouth?
He didn't get it all the way through right. Like, if it were a doctor, it would have been probably less painful, okay? But the point is, like, here's the thing with the needle to me, all right? I would rather a guy got stabbed through the cheek with a needle 50 times than take one power bomb on a cinder block, okay? With that said, I've seen a lot of people in the chat here. I heard from you. You know, this was a spot where people left the room. They had to leave the room. Some people probably stopped watching, okay? I would never do a spot where people are going to stop watching my product because they're so turned off or horrified by it. So I would not have done the needle, but for the people talking about how the needle was a thing that went over the line as far as violence and danger, it's like, brother, that ain't even close, okay? That freaking cinder block, dude, those 2 cinder block spots, I brought it up on Saturday. You know, Rick Rude retired for 4 years with a broken back and was never the same because he ended up falling on, like, a little raised portion of the stage. Like, that broke his back and he was done. And these guys are taking power bombs on a shoot cinder block, vertebreakers on the edge of a shoot cinder block. Like, this stuff... And, you know, Tom and I, before the show, were talking. I destroyed my knee on Friday. Destroyed it. And how did I do that? I did a bridge, okay? You guys ever done a bridge in jiu-jitsu? You do 50 of them a day. I did one bridge, boom, gone. Was it because of the bridge? No. It was because of years and years of whatever I was doing. Well, one day I did a bridge, and away it goes. So when the match was over, yeah, Swerve and Hangman went backstage. People were like, oh, my God, hey, we're fine. We're fine. Everything's good. They all said they were fine, okay? And they were fine on that day. But this is what happens. One day, something's going to happen, and they're not fine. And it's because of cumulative being dropped on cinder blocks and being dropped on heads and necks and... You know, you can have my point is you can have like a great match and not have, a power bomb on a cinder block. That's what I think. But who am I? Compelling, though.
Yeah, sure as heck was. I didn't think the vertebreaker and the power bomb were that bad. Tastefully done. Pulled off well. Hangman was not dropped on that cinder block, barely at all. Swerve took
Did you see his back? He scraped along the edge of that cinder block, and flesh was torn off of his back.
Oh, my God, he scraped his back.
Yeah, his spine also hit it.
Horrible.
Oh, God.
He scraped the skin on his back.
You're an idiot.
Oh.
And the power bomb was totally fine. Hey, he landed great.
Looks good to me.
Great. Yeah. Anyway, unforgettable.
I think that was the goal.
Well,
and
of course it was the goal.
It achieved it.
Yes. So there was that. And I thought the rest of the show was, for the most part, one of the better shows AEW has ever done in terms of in-ring. What did you think of that Pac versus Will Ospreay match? All-timer?
Well, I mean, it was fantastic, as you would expect. But it's like, where do you put this on the list of these Will Ospreay matches?
Well, there is that.
Everyone is just so damn good that it's becoming impossible for me to separate them in my mind. You know what I mean?
Well, there is that problem.
Like, this guy's going to have a 5-star match every time. It's going to be 25 minutes.
Dave earlier this year did make a comment which was sort of tongue-in-cheek where he goes, we're going to have to make like a new category in the Observer Awards for like best match and then best match involving Will Ospreay. And at the time, it's kind of funny or whatever, but he could take like all 10 this year. Like, this is crazy. But anyway, we'll talk more after the break. Send me your messages. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Okay, can everyone hear it?
Yeah.
There's a mystery bell at Granny's house. She can't hear it. Take off your headphones for a second.
I had them on wrong anyway.
Okay.
I can't get them on right. What?
Take them off and listen.
You have in your elbow?
Is the fan on a computer?
Nothing.
All right. Well, this is going to be an exciting show.
Gonna have bells ringing through the whole thing, and it's every week. It's got to be me.
Do you have a neighbor that's an ice cream man
No,
practicing out there?
I got a neighbor that smokes marijuana.
I'm sure you do. I guess
Whatever that noise is, I mean, it's still going.
Yeah, it's not going to stop, dude.
Brian, do you want me to get off here and go see if open the door and see if there's anything out there?
You think something's out the front door?
Is he ringing the bell the entire time?
No, Granny, you don't.
Let me in! Let me in!
It's fine. It's fine.
If it's death, don't open the door.
Thank you, Craig. This person thinks it's a stove timer.
Have you burned the roast?
No, I don't have a stove. You want me to just get off here?
No. We're going to barrel through it.
I'd love it.
You're not even doing anything. Granny, Nick says that you've got an old-fashioned analog alarm clock in Terry's bedroom.
I don't know. I got a new alarm clock, battery operated. Is that what she meant?
Well, whatever it is, it's going haywire right now.
Oh, it might be my alarm,
Do you think?
but it's way back in the bedroom.
Don't worry about it right now. But when the show's over, you might want to go...
That's what it is.
Okay.
Solve the mystery.
Is there a reason you didn't turn it off when it started ringing?
Well, I wasn't in there. I didn't.
Duh.
I took a nap. I took a nap and set the alarm. I thought I shut it off, but I probably didn't.
No.
You probably didn't.
That's life.
I would say with a good deal of certainty that you didn't turn it off.
Brian, that's life around here.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I do the show with Dave, too.
Say,
Hear all sorts of things in the background.
did I do that? You know,
Yeah, you did do that.
or I thought I did that, but I didn't.
In there.
I wake up and I see lights on, and I say, I didn't turn those lights on. What's going on?
Maybe the place is haunted.
Could be.
Okay.
It's my brain that's haunted.
Well, I hope not. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. All right, let's go through some of these text messages here, Tom.
Bring it.
This person says this match only appears to a niche audience. Well, that's true. I mean, but
Wrestling fans? Is that the niche audience?
It's a niche of a niche, this one. But, to be fair, I mean, you were warned. I mean, really, you went into this match thinking it was just going to be a straight wrestling match with holds in a cage? I mean, come on.
The thing,
didn't have to watch
honestly,
it.
Brian, the thing that I was most surprised about was how much violence we got in the other matches.
Well, yeah, we had that
And in
plastic
the angle,
bag.
The angle right before.
Yep.
Statlander and Willow pulled no stops in their match. They had just as many outside objects and violent things happening in their match as Swerve and Hangman did, really. And Daniel Garcia was busted open like immediately
Yeah.
in his match, if I remember correctly. So that wasn't the only one. It was a full night, all out violence on Saturday.
Not a fan of the needle or the plastic bag, this guy says. Hopefully they never do that again.
The plastic
they'll do the
bag.
needle again, brother.
You're upset at the plastic bag.
Yeah, well,
Let's bring back a good ether rag.
Ether rag,
That's one of my
sledgehammer,
favorites.
power bomb on. Thing, I got to say one thing about the show, which was Hangman trying to poison or drug Swerve with a needle? No, he's just trying to stab him. That's what he's trying to do. And by the way, I was told from people in the building that when they use that piece of that piece of wood, that sharpened piece of wood from the burned down house, Like, we knew that because the announcers told us that. But I talked to people in the building. They were like, we all thought it was a knife. That's where they were freaking out. They thought he was going to stab him with a knife.
God. What? Who is he? Big Al? Tank Abbott?
Even Big Al would have watched this match and went, this is a little too much for me. Must we?
What, was Hangman going to cut Swerve's beard?
I will say, too, I mentioned this at the beginning of the Bryan and Vinny show. If you didn't know anything about anything, you would watch this show and think, like, my God, this place must be dying. They're burning down houses, and they're using needles and power bombs and ether or the plastic. Like, it's just like, this is the kind of thing that dying promotions do to try to get the last little bit of buzz. But it's not a dying promotion at all. In fact,
oh, let's get to the rumors, baby.
Tony said he had not put pen to paper yet. That's what he said. I won't call him a liar, okay? But, I mean, I think when this show took place, like, they were as close to being the second most profitable promotion of all time as they could get. That deal is going to be announced any moment. Any moment, I would say. He said good chance within the next month, but I don't know, man. I think within the next week or so we're going to hear about it. I think it's going to be...
My question,
yes,
Brian,
what's
is
your question?
What kind of shockwave are they ready to send throughout professional wrestling? I'm sure you're going to get to it, but I can't wait.
There is no chance. I shouldn't say there's no chance. I won't say that. Tony, they have there's a shockwave trademark they've applied for. And if you read the trademark filing, like what shockwave is going to be used for, like if you read the terms that they use to describe where it will be used, and if you listen to Tony Khan say shockwave, 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 I'm pretty sure they're getting another show. There's going to be AEW Shockwave, and this is my prediction for what's going to happen. They're going to get a very good renewal. I don't know what the number is going to be. Part of the problem, especially when discussing this with people, is nobody knows what they're actually getting now compared to what they were getting before. So, like, whenever people throw around numbers like, I'll bet they get double, or I bet they get one, it's like, double what? Double the original? Double what they're getting now? Double what they're getting with the 1 year? Like, double what? I don't know, but...
Double or nothing?
I think it's going to be a big increase. And I think that what's going to happen is people are going to still say that they did a poor job on this renewal. And they will also say, well, you're also getting a fourth show, so it's not as impressive as it seems. That is my prediction for how people are going to react to this. But I believe it's going to be a healthy increase and a fourth show added. That's what I think we're going to get with this new TV deal, which is not a dying company, despite all of this craziness that we saw in this show.
Well, where do you predict that this fourth show is going to go?
And there are a lot of rumors it ain't going to be part of WBD. So, take your pick. Ain't going to be USA. Tell you that much.
Amazon Prime?
I think it's going to be an over-the-air. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's being Amazon or anything like that. Nor will it be Ion.
Is it time for the
Pretty sure it's going to be one you've heard of before.
The Frog?
No,
we
learned about the Frog.
To take out his old company?
Yeah, the Frog is gone. This person says, who is asking for a fourth show? It don't matter if you're asking, brother. If you're being paid for a fourth show, you're doing a fourth show.
Yeah.
That's all
Tony
there is to
Khan.
it.
Tony Khan's asking for it if you're paying him.
Oh, you're going to give me an extra $40 million a year? Nah, I don't want to do a fourth show. You keep the $40 million. That's not happening. Now, this person says, even if the gimmick chair shot is somehow 100% safe, it's still a bad idea because it just burns everybody out. So I think what they did with the chair shot was, I think it was a combination of shaved down and also gimmicked so that it would immediately, like just the metal part would go over his head and it would break apart. Still, don't ever do that again. We don't need it. You could hit him in the back, hit him in the front. Could have jabbed him in the back with that needle and him in the back with that chair. Didn't have to break his skull open. So,
I thought it was pretty sick.
It was sick. That's what it was.
But in an awesome way.
Oh, stop.
Well, I loved it.
This person says, Nick from Reno, I could honestly do without the indie garbage. This is why AEW's audience is eroding so quickly. Okay, well, two parts here. First off, You're welcome to want to do without the indie garbage, but the second part, this is not why AEW's audience is eroding so quickly. It is not because they did a match with a syringe. I mean, there's many reasons for what's going on. It's multifaceted. It's not one thing, and this ain't going to speed up the decline.
I mean, their audience may be dwindling, but maybe their audience of the higher-ups isn't dwindling if they're getting more money. Buddy.
Yeah, they're making more money. They're doing very well on cable, even though they're down. Could they be doing better? Of course. Of course. Are they cold right now? Yes. Have they lost a lot of viewers over the last year? Yes. Are they still often number 1, 2, 3 on cable? Yes. So two things can be true, which people really don't like when two things can be true. They only want one thing to be true. But that's not the way things work. XPW did a better needle spot years ago. Incorrect. Guy had a hypodermic needle put through his jimmy.
Oh.
Yeah. You ever
Good
seen
Lord.
that?
Yeah.
Not
I
good.
did see that.
Not good.
I first saw it on the Pain Olympics about 20 years ago.
The Pain Olympics. Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be some listeners that remember that one, but we probably shouldn't spend too much time on it.
So anyway, the main event was incredible, this person says. I understand if the match was unsettling for some, but you knew that it would be coming in. So if you don't like that part of pro wrestling, don't watch it. Violence will always be part of wrestling. Glad AEW leans into it. I don't think WWE, of course they wouldn't do a match like that. And I could tell you there were people in WWE that were like, what are we doing here? But of course, both sides do that kind of thing. What are we doing? But there was a lot of that. But said the main event was crazy. That was a brutality of violence to display. That's one way to put it. I also loved it, this person said. It was the first time in a while I felt like we had a true alternative to WWE. That was the first time? And the shriek, Tom, made it cinema. The shriek.
That other listener should watch Woman of Wrestling if they're looking for an alternative to WWE.
This person here says, All Out main event. I thought it was awesome. I also never want to see it again. Well, that's fair. Person says, I thought the cinder block spot went a little too far. I also understand they shaved down the steel chairs to alleviate the impact. It's still a steel chair shot to the head. I will say the home angle sold me on the show. The burning down the house was awesome. I will say that. I viewed this as a very predictable show other than the main event. Did you watch the house burning?
No.
Loved it.
I did. I was at the Black Label Pro Combine, actually, at the time that it aired.
Oh, yeah. I heard that, was it Jordan just, smashed everybody?
Kinda. She won the female crown.
Okay.
I believe. And for the men, do you know who won?
You were in it.
I wasn't even in it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was Jack Swagger, Madcap Moss, Moose, and Parker Boudreaux.
I will bet. Who are they again? Madcap. I predict Madcap.
Madcap was the winner. And actually, I believe the next day, he and Emma announced that they are expecting a child.
They're having a child. Congratulations to them. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, quit doing those combines now, brother. You're going to be a dad.
Yeah, I thought he was going to blow through the ropes. Running the ropes in that 18-foot ring at Black Label Pro.
Oh, my God.
Could you imagine?
No, I would not have done it if I were him. I would need padding outside. Let's see what else we have here. Everyone losing their minds over the chair shot would feel different if it was one of those cookie sheets, which is as hard as that gimmick chair hits. That is objectively wrong. Whoever wrote that, you should be ashamed of yourself. I have, in fact, talked to somebody who handled one of the gimmick chairs that has been used in AEW, and they said, yes, it is shaved down. It is not a cookie sheet. It is still a steel chair. And they said they would not have wanted to be hit with it. So take that what you will. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Granny, what's happening? What do we got for the wrestling report here today?
Talk or something.
Talk or something.
So Niven comes in, jumps on Bailey with her overweight body a couple of times, doesn't mind playing dirty, leaves Bailey on the mat in lots of pain. I found this book. It's called Limericks from the Heart.
Is this a Lanny Poffo book?
Let me finish this one. This guy's name is Lanny Poffo. And there are 335 pages in here. Can you guess what it's about?
Smoking.
Oh,
Sean
Yes,
the
yes.
Wizard.
have you read it?
We read it every week for about 6 months.
When I first started.
Wow.
Why don't we start reading some questions, and we'll see if we can spur some answers out of Granny. Shall we try?
No, I don't think so.
Let's try.
Then you'll really find out how dumb I am.
Granny, did you know there was a wrestling bear?
No, and I don't care.
All right.
It's a bear that wrestled people.
I still don't care.
Okay.
Is Granny frozen?
Granny, you frozen?
No, I'm ready to read my report.
Your picture is frozen.
It is
Yeah. Or you're doing a great job as a ventriloquist.
Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, or whatever his last name is. Paul Newman is watching this match, and he's not on
Excuse me?
Cody's side. What's the matter?
Absolutely nothing. Everything's great.
You know, Cody did say that he was looking for a manager. I think him and Paul Newman would be a
What a handsome pair.
a dashing duo.
That guy's a movie star, isn't he?
Since you're on the phone, why don't we just jump right into your wrestling report and such, and then we'll let you go and we'll do Facebook without you.
Can I lay the phone down and you guys, can you hear me?
You can try. Why don't you give it a shot?
Okay.
Oh, boy. It's going to be a disaster. I can already tell.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That's all right, I guess.
Go ahead.
No, it's your segment. You're gonna read
Read us jokes.
or your wrestling report or whatever. I see Granny has now put the phone back up to her ear.
I'm just, yeah, for now.
Do you have the soaps or anything else, Granny, or are we is that it?
I want to quit for now.
Okay. Well,
No more.
instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. So as far as gimmicking chairs goes, Lance here says that Masato Tanaka's neck was so bad in ECW that they used to gimmick the chairs so the seat spun out of place on impact. Seat attached at 4 points, they'd break 2 of them ahead of time, and then it would just pop off. So, because Balls Mahoney would compress your neck if he hit you with a chair. So they gimmicked those up there at the end. Can't they just gimmick everything? Can't we gimmick the mat? Make it bounce more, be softer. You know, when I used to do the YWF back in the day, so they had the gymnastics floor, which had springs underneath it, so it was basically exactly like a ring. It had some give. But then they had this tumble track, and what it was is like 500 pairs of skis all laid out on this long track. And man, that thing would spring you 10 feet in the air. And so obviously taking bumps on that was easy. You felt it was not quite a trampoline, but like you'd hit it and you'd bounce really high. And the funny thing is, when we do these shows for folks, you know, we do these bumps on the gymnastics floor and they'd be like whatever. But then, you know, it was going to be a big bump. We'd fight our way over to the spring floor, and some dude would like do the Undertaker press power bomb, and the guy would land and like bounce 10 feet in the air, and the place would go nuts. Like, holy smokes, he must be dead. But it was the easiest bump of all. So I advocate bouncier rings. The fans will think it's even more impressive, and the wrestlers will be safer. Of course, then you have to run in a ring that's really bouncy, and you have to be careful with your knees, right? If you make the ring softer, guys will take bigger bumps. That's fine. It's a soft ring. You know the bumps we used to take on trampolines? Anyway.
I think you'd actually do more damage on some of those bumps if you landed on a trampoline, like a neck bump.
Yeah, you don't want to do that on a trampoline.
No.
That's a bad idea. You have to stop taking head bumps. All right. You're facing Madman Pondo this weekend. Did I hear that right?
That is correct.
Madman Pondo.
Madman Pondo, Paradigm Pro Wrestling Heavy Hitters Tournament, New Albany, Indiana. Our Lady of
Why are you
Perpetual
doing that?
Hops. Why?
Yeah.
Why
Why would you face Madman Pondo?
I am a prize fighter.
What's the prize?
Who needs money? Who needs the booking fee?
If I knew how much you were making to face Madman Pondo, I'd be appalled, wouldn't I?
You'd be begging
You going to use a syringe?
to get there with me. No, I will not.
I'll tell you what I will never do in my life, beg for a match with Madman Pondo. Never. I didn't even beg for a match with Nick Gage. He forced me into that. Person here says, I thought the match was perfect for the feud. Anyone that watched the Texas death match should have known something wild was coming in this match. It's a blood feud. It needed to be violent. I think we can all agree on that. He says, watching matches like Swerve versus Hangman is like watching porn. It might give pleasure, but you know it is moral. Actually, he wrote mortally wrong to enjoy it. I didn't know watching porn was mortally wrong.
Well, he is right.
Oh, morally, he says.
He is right in another instance, too, but I'm not going to get into that.
You're an idiot. Why don't we talk about SmackDown?
Why?
Because it happened.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened.
Sure, it was a show. The last ever SmackDown
History.
on Fox. Historical. After years and years. After getting Cletus in the war room, drafting people from the styles that
whatever
the
happened to
house
old
that
Cletus?
AJ. Well, he's gone now.
But, I mean, is he
We're
really?
never gonna-
Is he like
we're
the
never
WB Frog?
Well, no, he's around for football, I believe.
Whatever happened to Cletus, the Fox robot?
He also made an appearance for the UFC as well, I believe. So he's gone through the couple of the sports now. He's like Bo Jackson, multi-talented athlete.
Okay, it says that Cletus, the Fox robot, was a mascot. Introduced in 2005, a recognizable character. As of recent years, however, Cletus has been seen less prominently in Fox broadcasts. The network has evolved its presentation. And while Cletus occasionally makes appearances, he's not as central to the branding as he once was. He has not been officially retired, but his role has been reduced in favor of newer, more modern presentation techniques and graphics. Well, there you go. So
Yeah.
he's fared better than the WB Frog.
Maybe that's why there's been a decrease in viewership on Fox.
Could be.
Maybe it's related
He should be stabbed
directly-
with a needle. All right, SmackDown.
I don't know what the effect of that would be. Yeah, what is there to say? We had L.A. Knight.
Well, we could review it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong thing, so I guess I shouldn't start off with L.A. Knight. Cody Rhodes came out. The Bloodline came out. Cody Rhodes was asked for a title shot by Solo Sikoa. Cody Rhodes then offered a title shot instead to Jacob Fatu, who seemed like he was going to accept it and then stepped down at the stern look from Solo Sikoa. The Bloodline swarmed the ring. DIY and the Street Profits came to back up Cody Rhodes. An 8-man was set for later tonight with the Bloodline taking on DIY and the Street Profits. And next week on the first ever SmackDown on USA Network in 2024, Cody will defend his title against Solo Sikoa in a steel cage.
I'll be there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be there for that show. Seattle, Washington. The first SmackDown on USA of this new deal.
Tiffany Stratton and Pretty Deadly were planning something when Nia Jax seemingly kind of caught them in the act. Tiffany was playing sly, but Michael Cole made it quite apparent that she's got something up her sleeve when it comes to Nia. KO ran into Waller and Theory. He set up a three-way match between the three of them tonight. Then we had the re-debut of Giovanni Vinci. And I got to know, who did he piss off? Because he got pinned in mere seconds by Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin's tag partner. He took forever to take his clothes off. The ref started the match while his back was turned, which was kind of BS if you ask me, but it gave Crews enough time to pin him.
Okay, this is one of those things where I hate when people say this because usually it doesn't happen at all. But this is one where I think we need to let this play out. Because, listen, you can just fire the guy. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's saying he's being buried, and it's like, they took him off TV. They could have just fired him. We would have never seen him again. But they went through all the trouble of doing vignettes and video packages and repackaging and coming soon and all that. Why would you do that just to bury the guy? I think this was just something they figured. We're going to start a feud with Giovanni and Apollo Crews. We could find 5 different ways to do it, but let's just do something nobody's expecting. We'll shock them, and then we'll take it from there. I can't believe they would go to all this trouble just to bury this guy. Vince would do that, but he's gone. So I think this was just a unusual way of kicking off a feud between these two guys.
Oh, that's one way to put it. I mean, it reminded me of the re-debut of Brodus Clay. Who was another one that we had?
Brodus Clay?
Yeah, remember they pumped him up, the Funkasaurus?
It was a Vince thing.
Yeah.
Took one look at him and thought, you know what he thought.
Emelina.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So we had Kevin Owens take on Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. These guys are still together as a team.
Yeah. Now
seemingly,
this
it's not
irritates me.
ending because
No, it's going to at some point.
Oh, it might be this next week because they're going to take on Kevin Owens and a mystery partner. But here tonight, they were in three-way action with Kevin Owens. And there weren't too many miscommunication spots between the two of them. There were a few where Theory would hit a move and Waller would try to get a pin. But eventually, KO hit the stunner. He got the win. And then the two of them beat him down after the match. LA Knight was interrupted by Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. The three of them got into a fight. Knight was the last one standing, so it looks like we'll get a three-way title match between them, I guess. Chelsea Green took on Mishin. Chelsea Green won after Piper distracted Mishin on the floor and hit her with a senton. And in the main event, the Street Profits and DIY took on the Bloodline. Non-stop action. Ciampa superplexed Tamatanga onto everyone on the floor near the end of the match. Montez hit a 450, but it got broken up by Fatu, tagged himself in, ran through everyone on the entire other team, dropped Montez Ford on top of his head with an impaler, and then left Solo Sikoa to clean up the scraps, hitting Ford with a Samoan spike, and then another one for good measure, and getting the win to end the era of SmackDown Live on Fox.
Yeah, they clearly are setting up old Jacob Fatu as the next big thing in this bloodline. He does all the work every time. Solo's just some fella. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we all know who's really pulling the strings.
Would you stop? Are you happy to know that he's now one half of the tag team champions?
Elated.
Yeah, they explain this. Tama and Fatu are the ones who won the titles, but Fatu has given up his belt to become Solo's personal enforcer.
He couldn't do that.
Can't do that as a tag
one
champ.
half
No.
of the champs.
So Tama and Tonga are officially the tag team champions. They do not want to beat that guy under any circumstance.
Tonga Loa?
No, you idiot. He's going to be the guy that does the job every time, dude. Every time.
Just like Sami Zayn.
Stop. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty decent SmackDown right there.
Yeah, but nothing like, if I was going to, I guess you really don't care if you go out with a bang because you're leaving
Yeah, you're
the
leaving.
station, right? Like, they actually put too much effort into the show.
Well,
in
you know,
one-
they very clearly at the end, they did that video package. They did that thank you. They said, you know, we'll see you around. They do not want to burn a bridge with Fox. They do not. Because Fox really... See, like, when they first signed with Fox, Vince was like, because we signed with Fox, a new boom period is going to begin. And they were with Fox for like 2 years, and it was not a boom period because the product was absolutely freaking horrible. So they finally get rid of old Vince. Hunter takes over, gets significantly better. And because they had a better product on Fox, that did help to build this boom period because so many people were watching SmackDown on Fox. Now they're off Fox. And, you know, the SmackDown rating, we ain't going to have those 2.3 million anymore. I mean, it'll be 1.8. And
Brian, you're talking about a boom period. We just entered the boom period because at AEW All Out, front row was none other than, and I've been saying it for months now, none other than the Costco guys. That's who you need to hit up. You need to ask the Costco guys, was Swerve and Hangman, was it Doom or was it Boom?
look at you. The chat is so disgusted with you. This person says Fox will not be dealing with WWE again. Do not make a statement like that. Obviously, they let them go. But if non-sports television continues to decline the way it's declining, don't be thinking in 5-10 years they ain't going to be asking for WWE again. We'll see. Back in a moment. Observer Live. We did, in fact, by popular demand, watch Ready to Rumble.
The champion is some fat loser.
Yeah, he's a completely talentless, no athletic ability, can't wrestle, broke bum that walked out on his wife and kid.
But he was
he's
over.
the world champion.
He
and
was
in the movie. The
well, yeah, but
storyline
that's a
is-
microcosm of wrestling, sadly.
Yes.
He feels so bad about drinking this entire slushy that costs $1.26, and he sticks his finger in his asshole and walks up to the clerk.
Lance is dying. How could the movie be so bad?
I'm not going to fault the man for that, of all the things in the movie.
I thought for
okay?
sure you were going to say you'd done this before.
There's a reason I'm not going to fault the man for that.
I just think with all the porta potties and farting in this, that I think Vince McMahon was a secret producer on this film. Had to have been.
So then we get the Shermanator. He's playing a WCW arcade game. He uses some internet sleuthing to find the personal information of Jimmy King.
He's searching the internet. Gonna find out anything on here. This movie was so antiquated. Every Nitro Girl is in a Nitro Girl outfit, except for this girl. They had her
want
dance
her
in
to
something
stand
totally
out,
different.
Brian, like the captain.
So we're so stupid. I got it.
Captain
Yes,
Stavin.
if you're watching this film, you're that stupid. I'm sorry.
But I was also insulted by the fact they hired Michael Buffer to announce the Royal Bash, the fake-ass Royal Bash.
$24 million budget.
Wow.
And probably 500,000 of that went to Michael Buffer. It made 12. You know, we
He
should mention
unveils-
this cage match is the triple-decker Cage of Doom. Everybody buried it. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. And so they decided to make a movie. And what is the final battle? It's another goddamn triple-decker cage match. This would be like in 2010 if like TNA made a movie and the final match was a reverse battle royal.
They throw powder in someone's face, DDP's, I think, or somebody's, and the dude just looks at it and goes, "It doesn't work." It's like, of course, because wrestling's fake and stupid.
Should we just end it there? What a soundbite. There has never been a movie I have watched in my entire life which has made me hate myself more.
Wow.
I'm ashamed that I'm even in the place at 41 years old where I would end up reviewing this movie for money. I would have thought I would have made it out of here by now. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Well, everyone, hopefully we can do this again someday. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Wow. 33 years ago today, Ric Flair made his WWF debut on Primetime Wrestling. Bobby Heenan had that World Heavyweight Championship belt, which very quickly became the center of a lawsuit. They had to start blurring a tag belt. And here he is, the Nature Boy, debuting on the studio audience version of Primetime Wrestling, which as a kid I hated. Hated that studio audience. Because like they were there to laugh at Bobby Heenan. And I remember it was like, we're supposed to be laughing at Bobby Heenan. It's supposed to be like a guilty pleasure to be laughing at this horrible person. And once you had the crowd laughing, it was like, I don't like it.
I might go grab some Woo Wings.
Hey, do they still have that Woo Energy and stuff like that?
I don't know. It was the big sponsor.
I've never
for
seen
AEW,
Woo Energy
wasn't
once.
it?
I mean, I go to the grocery store all the time. I've never seen Woo Energy.
No. I'm a big bucked up guy, the official sponsor of bare knuckle fighting.
We don't want to do a sponsorship snack down on Woo Energy? Afraid it could kill me.
I mean, it's gonna make me more of like Ric Flair.
Yeah, that might.
I don't know if I can risk it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what do you got coming up? You got about 10 seconds here.
Hey, this weekend, as already mentioned, Filthy Tom versus Madman Pondo, Paradigm Pro Wrestling, New Albany, Indiana on Friday. Saturday night, MLW in Atlanta, Filthy Tom Lawler against Matt Riddle, Valet Tudo rules.
There you go. Excellent job today, Tom. You know, this show's great when you're on it with me. But Mike Sempervive will be back tomorrow. We'll have a lot to talk about.
For the sickos.
Raw tonight, everybody. Don't miss it. Bret Hart's there. Jey Uso, Pete Dunne, Braun Strowman, Ilya Dragunov, Intercontinental title. Finals for the tournament to determine the number one contender. Tag titles on the line. Bianca and Jade versus Alba and Isla. Wyatt Six versus American Made Street Fight. No needles involved. Lyra, Zelina, and probably Natty against the Pure Fusion Collection. Dominic versus Dragon Lee. And Drew McIntyre addresses his horrible attack on CM Punk. And that's it. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.